to you, Jim, was what is your position on Cape Wind? And I'd like to expand that a little bit to wind energy beyond that in total here on the Cape. But if you could address that, and then the whole issue of wind energy.
Yes. I support wind energy, but I do not support Cape Wind. I have a voting record, and this is what I think makes me an attractive candidate. I have a voting record that started the ordinance for land-based wind in Barnstable. So I voted for wind. I voted also clearly against Cape Wind. So there's a number of reasons that we can talk about for a time that will exceed eternity why Cape Wind isn't the right project and isn't particularly sound idea for the sound or for the protection of our villages and towns. But I can tell you, wind is here to stay. I brought 2 projects into Barnstable, one at our wastewater with my council, one at our wastewater where we're doing photovoltaic as well as windmills, and one out at COMM, which I'm a Prudential member, for powering our public well supply systems. So I've got the record that says wind works in places and wind doesn't. And I can tell you that that's defensible, and the data reflects that. And the truth of the matter is, we just had this discussion at town meeting, the town councilor in Barnstable and the vice president of the town council, and we just had this discussion about setting up a charitable account until we get this emergency issue resolved. For people to think that Barnstable shouldn't protect its shoreline and shouldn't address emergency response team as part of the permitting process is a grave area, especially in the time that we are seeing every day what's happening in the Gulf. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Eric?
Yeah, obviously I'm very opposed to Cape Wind. When I first heard about that project, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard, quite frankly. And I'm proud to be going on 4 years now fighting it. I've been working with state legislators, I've been working with congressmen, I've been working with U.S. senators, various organizations in D.C. and here at the state. I'm very thankful to Jim and the Barnstable Town Council for being a firm ally in this fight. I mean, studies have shown that this project goes in, and we're going to lose a couple thousand jobs here on the Cape. You're going to lose a couple $100 million in tourism revenue, and what you're going to cause is navigation risk to air and to boating. You're going to kill the commercial fishing industry. You're going to kill our environment. A lot of people don't realize that this poses an oil spill threat, and not just from the substation that will house 40,000 gallons, possibly rupturing. There's been studies that show that if they were to rupture, the oil's on our beach within 5 hours. Some will say, well, it's a transformer oil, but I don't care if it's baby oil. I don't want 100,000 gallons of that on my beach. The other fact that a lot of people don't realize is every other week there's a barge that's towed out to Nantucket. It's not motorized, it's towed. It carries $1.3 million gallons of heating oil, and it passes less than a quarter mile from the back of the proposed project. It can't move out of the channel it's in because the channel is what it is. We've all been out there, it gets choppy, it gets foggy, it can get windy all of a sudden. Can you imagine a million gallons of heating oil getting dumped in the Sound? Can you imagine the devastation for decades that we'd have here on the Cape and Islands? So it's the wrong location, wrong project. I think wind energy works when you have some common sense about it. It's one of the least efficient forms of energy. It's one of the most expensive. Cape Wind's trying to charge people here, National Grid customers, almost 3 times the going rate for electricity that we pay now, which are, again, another job killer. Businesses are going to leave. They're already leaving the state. They're definitely going to leave now. And wind energy works. I like distributed generation, where an individual complex, whether it's a mall or a business or a school, you can have a distributed generation where maybe you're pulling less from the grid every year, and cumulatively over a town, over a community, over a state, then you're making a difference. But to do these wholesale, massive industrial turbines do not fit in to the landscape of the Cape, and I think there's a better way forward. You can have wind energy, but you need some common sense behind it.
Thank you, Eric.